of a sanity check and really something that we want to make sure that we make right, because this slipped under the radar. Democrats got away with it. The election is behind us. It would be easy to forget about it. However, we don't tolerate race baiting on this show. So let's get to it in our closing sanity check. So I talked earlier in the week about a few really bad campaign mailers, a bad campaign ad. Last week, we talked about that a lot as well. And there was one in particular that I had brought up that I had some issues with. It was a Republican ad against State Senator Twina Nobles, who's running for a school board position, which she won, by the way. But I didn't like just a factual inaccuracy about it. But there was another problem that the Washington State Democratic, Senate Democratic Campaign Committee had with it. They claim that that same ad that I discussed, in the same ad, the Washington State Republican Party, which paid for the ad, darkened Twina Noble's skin. And they're saying it's racist. They sent out a tweet. This is some time ago now. Again, this was last week. And so the election is over. We could forget about it, but I don't want to forget about it. So the Washington Senate Democrats tweeted, "This attack on Senator Twina Nobles from the Washington Republicans is disgusting. They darkened her skin tone in this picture. Their blatant anti-blackness is showing." And if you remember last week, I kind of mentioned that that accusation was out there. But what I had said at the time is everyone puts some bad picture of their opponent on there that makes them look dark and evil and red, or, you know, they'll like tint it red. So it's like, oh, don't vote for them. They're the devil. And so I had kind of dismissed this accusation from Senate Democrats that the GOP darkened her skin. But then I got a message from the chair of the Washington Republican Party, and he said, "You know what, Brandi, truth matters, and we didn't touch that picture." He said, "We did not edit that picture at all." I'll give you side by side in a moment. But, you know, his point was, look, I get it that the election is a few days ago, but this is a big accusation to say that we altered a picture of a black woman to make her skin look darker. They're saying that we're racist because of it, and we didn't alter it. And Jim Walsh sent me directly a picture that is still up today on Senator Twina Noble's social media that shows the picture that they took for this mailer. You tell me, if you're watching on the podcast, whether they darkened her skin. So on the left is the picture that today is on Twina Noble's social media. On the right is the picture that ended up in the campaign mailer. Her skin tone actually looks darker in the version that is up on her own social media. If anything, and I actually think that it's a picture from the exact same moment, but I think it's a slightly different angle because there's a man walking behind her in one of them, it looks like. But you can tell it's like a picture taken almost like just split second apart. And in the mailer, the only difference I see is maybe increased contrast that would have come from just a crappy print job. You know, when you...
Better, it almost looked like a glossy finish.
Right, glossy finish. Like when I made my business cards, I kind of wasn't happy with it. It almost looked like it was adding like weird shadows in places they didn't exist. And that's all this looks like. But her skin tone is actually brighter. Her skin is actually brighter in the version of the flyer from the Washington Republican Party. So this tweet, this accusation from Washington Senate Democrats is completely made up out of nowhere. It's completely made up out of nowhere. Who told them? Did they not look at the original picture to compare it? Her skin is not darker. It wasn't darkened by the Washington State Republican Party. And I agree with you, Jim Walsh, who, again, sent me a text message just urging me to be clear and to say that truth matters, facts matters. Even though the election is behind us, we did not darken this image. And having now looked at the original image, which is still up on her social media, they did not darken the image. And so I don't know if they have it in them, but the Washington Senate Democratic campaign should apologize and should admit that it made this up out of absolutely nowhere, which is insane.